Hello, in this video we're going to show you how to use the checkbox object within Cocos Studio. A checkbox has three different states: on, off and disabled. The disabled one means the user can't click it, and on and off, on there'll be some sort of tick in there or a cross, something to signify it's on, and off will, well, be no tick in there. So let's just drag on a checkbox object onto the screen and scroll down to the features. We got background, logo style, display state and selected. Selected is pretty self-explanatory. This just means if it is selected, aka the tick is in there by default. So if I were to click that, or deselect it, it no longer has a tick inside it. I'm just going to put it back in, and the display state as well. So by default, if you want it disabled or normal. So here's where it gets interesting: the background and the logo style. The way the widget in the way the checkbox object works in Cocos Studio, it's the UI checkbox object from Cocos 2D-X and Cocos 2D-JS. So you have a normal image, pressed image and disabled image, and what we're going to do is actually run it to help illustrate this more. So at the moment we got the normal image, which is this one right here. We got the normal tick, which is inside, and because it's selected, the tick appears. And if I just press it, my mouse is still clicked, it actually changes to the press state. You might be thinking, why has it gone smaller? As you can see, that's just because the image by default and the one that I'm going to put in as a custom image is smaller. So if you wanted a different shape, a different color, you can easily do that. So if I were to actually press it, as you can see, the tick disappears, but the actual background stays the same. So if I keep it pressed again, it goes to the press state, and if I release, it shows ticked. And finally, if I just change this to disabled and run, I can do whatever I want. It does not tick. Also, if I were to go selected or deselect the selected checkbox, you can not have the tick in there by default when it's disabled. So there's some pretty cool functionality here. So like we said, or like I said, I'm going to show you how to do it using some custom images. So let's just right click, import. You can, well, double click each image and select the image yourself and you'll import it, or you can just import the entire resource folder that you have, which is what I'm going to do right here. So if I go to archive, I've got these images, don't want this. If I click select, they're all right here. So if I just drag over the normal image, drag over pressed, and I want to drag over disabled, that's the one right there. Just lost it for a moment in my head. And the next one I want to drag over is where is it? I'll do the disabled tick first, and then finally it's the normal tick. So if I run this bad boy now, so as you can see, it appears got a tick inside it because normal state selected. And if I keep it pressed, it doesn't change, because what I've done, actually I mentioned that I wasn't going to do this, but what I've done is kept the image the same. So though it's actually switching, it doesn't look like it. So but I can toggle between the checkboxes, because you may not want the actual thing to change size. You may just want the tick to appear and go. So if I go to disabled and run it, it's slightly smaller. So yeah, that is it in terms of the checkbox object within Cocos Studio. To actually run it in code, you'll have to do it within your Cocos 2D-X project or Cocos 2D-JS, aka using something like Cocos Code IDE, Eclipse or Xcode, because Cocos Studio doesn't support coding. There'll be a link in the description to our API guide for Cocos to show you how to implement this using code in your project. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on sonarlearning.co.uk/questions.php. There'll be a link in the description for that as well, so you don't need to remember it. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.